Hello and welcome to another episode of Let's Talk with Imran Khan. Today I have with me the British Deputy High Commissioner of AP and Telangana with me once again. So, Mr. Andrew Fleming, welcome to our show. It's been a few years since we met, the last interview I did. So anyway, how has it been? Let me start with that.
Oh, everything is, okay, but for COVID and all. Right. We've been doing our best. We're building back from that. Right. I think the phrase is building back better, no?
Building back. So, since then, I'd like to know how the IndoUK Relations bit. You've done a lot. You've been very active. All those who follow you on social media see that you're always moving about, traveling. You've done.
Sure. I mean, when I came here in 2017, and let me focus my comments on what we've been doing in Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, rather than the wider India. When I came here in 2017, I used to go to numerous events. Always I was introduced as someone from the British Council. He used to annoy me. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the British Council, but that was not my job. And I said to the team, much smaller team in those days, we have to do something about this. This has to stop. So we've managed now to very much be visible here in the city. And we've done that in a lot of ways, and it's had a lot of different impacts. So, I mean, the reason we have an office here, first and foremost, is for our trade and investment work, led by the Department for International Trade. That is probably half of what we're here to do, and our office has grown out of a former trade office. I think in 5 years, probably we've increased our success something like 12-fold in terms of the amount of trade and investment we've managed to have between this region and the different regions of the UK. Let's not forget we have England, Ireland, Scotland, Wales, and within England there's 9 regions. Here, of course, you have over 90 million people in the region I've been covering. Also, we haven't just focused on Hyderabad, although that's a big part, but we've done a lot of outreach. I've been to 29 of the 33 districts of Telangana, 14 of the 15 in Andhra Pradesh before the chief minister there decided to increase the number of districts. So I have covered a lot of area, and by doing that, we've spotted a lot of opportunities. So in addition to our trade work, we also do a lot of work on what's called our prosperity agenda, which has 4 pillars. So we work on urban, energy, ease of doing business, and financial services. And we've done various projects. We've been doing one recently with Vizag on financial services, something else in the urban space, on Kakinada on electric mobility, and then in this state we've also been doing something on ease of doing business and on energy as well. So all that has been coming off well, and in addition we do what we call Force for Good, which has changed over 5 years, different themes. One of the overarching themes has been around what I would broadly describe as interfaith, celebrating people of every faith and no faith. We've been doing different projects on that ever since I came. And I've seen the impact of those projects quite strongly come through in different ways. We have about 400 youth in Hyderabad that have been through our program. But the exciting thing is that the organization we worked with, a small NGO called Rubaru, has grown over those 5 years. And it's not just working in Hyderabad now. It's worked with us in Calcutta. in Delhi, and it's just completed a national program with faith leaders from more than 12 different states of India, young faith leaders who came together. So that's really, really good, and that's just one of many force for good. There's like anti-child marriage, anti-human trafficking, cyber security, particularly for girls, wider girl-child initiatives. Some young woman is doing my job once a year on International Day for the Girl Child or another day. So all of those things have happened, and
so it's not just trade. There are so many
things. Yeah. So it's been busy. Every day has some surprise.
You have also had the longest stint, if I'm right, in this region.
Post. I mean, my predecessor, Andrew McAllister, had done 4.25 years, which was longer than expected, but I've surpassed that. I think the pandemic can be thanked or blamed depending on who you are. But yeah, 5 years today, actually.
Today
is
interesting.
when I landed in the city.
Wow. So that's a new record you've set, 5 years.
Yeah, it's been.
Last time we spoke about your family and how has the experience been for them, for you? I mean, I don't know where you're going next. I don't know if I can ask you that. But so will Hyderabad be a part of your life? Will you be coming back? How has the experience been?
I came here from Nigeria, no? I was there with my family. I missed Nigeria and I went back before the pandemic for a holiday. There's no doubt I'll come back to Hyderabad too. I mean, 5 years you make friends, it's a big part of your life, there's no doubt. My children schooled here for 4 years. Only the pandemic meant I had to send them to study in the UK. And that is where they are studying now, although it's the summer. My older son is here at the moment. He's been doing an internship in Hyderabad, which is fantastic. My wife and the younger son are in her country, in Vietnam. So seeing relatives after a long time. We haven't been together as a family as much as I would have liked in the last 18 months, 2 years, because of the whole COVID situation. But these things come along.
Part of, I mean, in between, post-COVID especially, visas to, especially the student visas, there were some issues. I think that it was taking a longer time, and I think the embassies were trying to make that easier for people. So could you tell me something about that? What's the status today? Because
I mean, there's fairly transparent communications, not only from the UK, but from pretty much every other government where there's a visa regime, that processing is taking a longer time. I think the pandemic has had an impact, and subsequent to that, of course, the Ukraine-Russia war. These are the reasons, and yes, they are taking longer. And our advice to anybody who wants to travel is plan early, book early. Don't make any financial commitment until you've got your visa. That's basically all I can tell you on that topic at the moment. But we give quite regularly updates on our social media whenever there's something new to tell.
right.
There's also other information online through government.uk.
Fair enough. I thought it would be good if we can hear from you since you're here. About the IndoUK relations and the trade front that you're talking about, I'd like to know, are there particular industries that you focus on, or when you?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest industry in Hyderabad, obviously, is, life sciences and tech are the two huge dominant industries in this state when it comes to relations with British companies. But we look at a number of other sectors as well on top of that. Aerospace and defence is one of emerging interest, and again it's somewhere that the Telangana government regard as a hub. Then there's a whole range of other areas. You've got the creative sector, which is quite a broad one. You have infrastructure, and there's a huge range of different infrastructure projects going ahead across this region, where there's potential for British companies to be a partner and add value. There is the future mobility, which is about new types of transport like electric vehicles. This is another area which is important, and wider energy related, renewable energy sector is also one that has generated a lot of interest among British companies. And then we have areas like agri-tech as well. I mean, this state has a significant proportion of people who depend on farming, and neighbouring Andhra Pradesh, even higher numbers. And then areas like advanced manufacturing as well are also there, and perhaps more so in Andhra Pradesh, where you have places like Sri City, which ideally located, not so far from a port. So a lot of interest too in that as well. And then we also have food and drink. Food. One of the areas, as you know, the UK and India are negotiating on a free trade agreement, and this is intended to ensure that we are able to exchange goods and improve trade between our countries, a win-win basis. And as we have left Europe, we're better able to negotiate this kind of agreement on a bilateral basis. One of the things that matters for us, we want to trade Scottish whisky. One of the things that matters for India, in fact, I'll give you two examples. One is textiles. I've recently visited Warrangal and looked at the textile park that the Telangana state government have put up there. The other is seafood. And when I was in Vizag, I found that there was no less than 80 different food processing plants for seafood for export. Andhra Pradesh exports more seafood than any other place, I think, in the world. I would be correct to say. China produces more, but it also consumes more. So Andhra Pradesh is really up there, but it has had difficulty in exports into Europe. Increasingly, that's one of the areas that the Indian negotiators have very much aspired to unblock. And obviously, being in this region, I've had a lot of conversations with those who are owning those plants. I've taken our trade commissioner there for a tour and for some discussions, and we'll have to see what happens. But there's huge potential.
Right. So you're trying to facilitate the Andhra Pradesh exporters to.
Look, we're going to have a trade agreement between the UK and India. We hope that will be concluded sooner than later. And the idea of that is that there will be better opportunities between both of our countries, which will lead to greater prosperity for us both. And there will be elements within that agreement that will be of particular interest to businesses in these two states. I can't speculate about what will finally be in it, but I'm just giving you a flavour.
But you've done
some of what we've been engaged on. I mean, there's many other areas as well.
Right. And about the Scottish whisky. So how's so you're trying to look at more importers here, or?
Yeah, I mean, it's about tariffs and things like that. Often there are tariffs attached to exports in both directions, and it's how we can reduce those with the commodities that we both want to export in different directions. Therefore, making whatever is going to be sold more attractive, more of appeal to a bigger market, which therefore will be of benefit. And that's basically what it's about in a very simplistic terminology, which I'm sure your viewers will understand.
So I'll wrap this up. Before I do that, I'd like to know, so what's been your favorite food in Hyderabad other than biryani? Because I'm sure.
I'm sure you asked me this last time.
Yeah, but I'd like to.
Let me tell you, it hasn't changed. Okay. I like South Indian breakfasts. Right. I really like idli, dosa, vada, homemade chutney. I don't like eating so much mass-produced. I like to go to someone's house, sit and have it. It's the best meals I've had here. I think breakfast is the best meal of the day often. And having a wonderful home-cooked breakfast is something that I always look forward to, although maybe my body, it's not the best.
But you try to be healthy, and I've realized today that you're probably a South Indian by heart.
Maybe.
Thank you so much for this. Thank you for the conversation. It was a pleasure, and hope you have a great tenure in your next assignment.
I'm very grateful. Thank you, and all the best to you too. Cheers.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So until next time, I'll see you again on the other side. Bye-bye.